everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show, I got one of my friends. He is an actor, a writer, a director, a filmmaker. He wears many hats. His name is Mackner, and I'm going to talk to him all about his horror films and his latest film. You could go get it. It's called Die Daisy Die, and I am in it. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Rume Show. And my interview with Mark will be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Room, and as always, welcome to my nightmare. So stay tuned. All right, Mark, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the invite. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. So, like, the first thing I guess I want to start out asking you, introduce you to the Grue Room Show. It's like
Sure.
what drew you to want to act like and make films? Like, when did your passion start?
Really early, like grade school, like early grade school, I got to be in a school play where I played a mad scientist and I had a creature that I made. And when people came to the door to like collect bills or whatever, like I'd have the monster kill them. And I didn't even write it. It was just like it was just like some weird like precursor to things that I would do later in life. But right then and there, I just knew I wanted to do it. It was fun and it was exciting and exhilarating when I was just in the classroom, just outside of a performance. Just I'd crack jokes. I was the class clown. If I got a laugh in the classroom, it gave me a rush, and it made me just want to do it more and keep pushing. And uh, and yeah, that's all how it started, really. And I always loved movies, and I watched movies over and over again, and I just wanted to be a part of it somehow. And I didn't know back then that I'd be writing and directing and all, but I knew that I wanted to be a part of it somehow.
Nice, nice. And Daisy Derkins was the first film that you ever like
Yeah.
wrote and made and starred in.
Yep.
And what inspired that short and thinking up the character of Daisy and the character that you played throughout the series, Silas and everyone else that
So
wants to kill Daisy.
so it started in 2008, and I was a little, down on my luck and a little low on cash, which is, I guess, still the case. But anyway, I was looking for a way to make some extra bucks, and my cousin's wife, Janine, shout out, she suggested dog sitting. And I thought about it. I never got around to doing it, but I thought about dog sitting enough that I was like, what if I don't think I've ever seen a movie where somebody was like tasked with dog sitting and then a bunch of supernatural, crazy, weird stuff happens. And that started me on the path of thinking about it. And I was like, well, if we have a hero that's the dog sitter, she needs a villain, a foil. And at the time, I was very, uh, I entertained myself by doing an impersonation of the Emperor from Star Wars, and I had come into possession of a hooded cape, and I was like, "How about I just throw that on and I do the Emperor, and that's the bad guy," and that's how it started. That simple.
That's awesome. I remember doing the film too. Like
Yeah.
it was definitely fun.
No, there was one of the best filmmaking memories I have is shooting the wrestling match between Silas and Helter, and we were at like some kid's birthday party
Yeah, yeah.
at like some like bingo hall or VFW hall, and we get in the ring before the actual matches start, and there's kids sitting out there, and we're like doing this thing, and those kids were not buying it.
No, they weren't.
And they were not excited at all to see Silas versus Helter. And I'm like, oh man. But it added to the comedy of the scene for sure.
It definitely did, yes. And I have to say, like one of the shorts I had a blast shooting with you was with Wedge
Yeah.
on winding, and oh my
Unwinding,
god,
yeah.
like yeah, that was a crazy film. Like Wedge is held captive and tied up by me, and while I'm
Yeah.
eating fried chicken and throwing bones at her face, and
It was a rare attempt to do something semi-serious, and the it was done for a film contest, one of those gimmicky film contests where it has to be like, just a few minutes, and that one was 3 minutes, and it's very difficult to tell a story in 3 minutes. And I
yeah,
think it had some kind of theme that you had to incorporate, and I think for 3 minutes it was pretty decent.
it definitely was. Yes, eating chicken and drinking Satan's dick.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And
Yeah, good times.
yeah,
Good times.
and
That was done for the Rob Zombie
it
Halloween
was,
Horror
yes.
Nights Festival.
Yeah.
And I didn't have such high hopes that we'd get selected, but that would have been a trip if it was part of some Rob Zombie thing.
Oh my God, I know that would have been so much fun.
Yeah.
And then there's the Evil Brew. And
Yeah.
what did you like about the short? Like, what did you like most about making the Evil Brew?
Well, Evil Brew came to me. It was a story, an anecdote told to me by a friend that was is based in reality. That there was a very true story of a keg party in the woods, and they get raided by the parents or the cops. Somebody shows up and scares everybody off, and one of the kids picks up the keg and tries to run off with it, is struck by lightning. In real life he dies, which is what happens in these real life situations, but in film and in comic books you can have more fun with it. So I got the idea that what if, we kind of tell the same story, but, the kid doesn't die and he becomes fused with the beer somehow, and he becomes like the T-1000 liquid metal monster and goes on a killing spree. And that's how that all started. And the thing about it was we didn't have the special effects budget to realize, this dude turning into liquid and assuming other forms. So yeah, it was what it was. But it was a fun time. It was a good
It
time
definitely
filming
was.
it. We had a great time. It was
Yeah.
yeah, it was a memorable experience, and it's out there on YouTube if you folks want to watch Evil Brew, and it's also available on Blu-ray through our good friends at Cult and Classic Films Podcasts. Find them on Instagram and Etsy. Cult and Classic. Get Evil Brew on Blu-ray. Support independent filmmakers.
Definitely, yes. And then the Half-Life Horror from Hell. Like I
Huh?
love this film. And this is the Superfly Jimmy Snuka
Yeah,
and Sarah French. Sarah French
yeah.
went on to blow up in the world of horror.
She moved to
And
LA and she's making it.
yes, yes, she's doing well. And like what did you love most about like working with like the Superfly and Sarah?
Oh, oh my God. Just everything. Just everything. This is a boyhood dream come true to have, superstar wrestlers that you had action figures for in your house, saying things that you wrote, beautiful blondes, just being in the same room as you, much less wearing underwear for you and saying funny things that you wrote and bringing all your characters and dreams to life. Like obviously we're not making a ton of money at this, but that's where the motivation comes from. It's like you just get such a charge out of even that much, just having people that or people that you admire, or people that are just attractive, just out there for you, supporting the thing that you wrote and want to create and put out there, and they're all on board. It's a thrill, man, and it's addictive.
Yeah, definitely. And now we're on to the brand new Daisy Derkins film, Die Daisy Die. This is the fourth one, right?
That's right. Die Daisy Die is the fourth film. We started the Daisy Derkins quote unquote franchise in 2008. 2024, we're still at it. This is the fourth feature film, and it's actually available beginning tomorrow, August, what is it, 27th?
27th, yeah.
Tuesday, August 27th. You can get it on Amazon.com on DVD. It's an outdated format, but it's still pretty neat to have physical media. And, whenever your internet goes out, you could pop in Die Daisy Die in the old DVD player and pass the time. And it's a lot of fun. It's sci-fi action comedy. We started off primarily horror comedy. Now we branched out into several other genres. We got your science fiction, you got your action and humor. So the basic idea is Daisy in the previous film, hi there. Daisy in the previous film had begun a career as a professional wrestler. Didn't work out. Now she's opening a comic book store. And at the same time, some new neighbors moved onto her block and they created a new dating app. And yeah, that's my son, Oliver. Our neighbors have created a new dating app, and they also have a sinister motive. There's shape-shifting lizard people are involved. Silas Killington's involved. He's now branching out into a career in show business. Bobo the Clown is a very old entertainer, showbiz clown, comes into the picture, and lots of laughs and hijinks ensue.
Oh yeah. And how does it feel like giving that role to your son now? Like he's taken over the role.
And he's doing great. And we did the world premiere 2 weeks ago, and we did a screening in public, and we got a great reaction. And as a father and as a director, it was a great thrill, and it gave me a great sense of pride to see how well he was received in the role as a performer, as an actor, in the character. He got lots of laughs. He got lots of compliments afterwards. I think it was a great experience for him, and it was a great experience for me to watch him take it all in. For a long time, people were saying, "Mark, Logan, your firstborn. He's your young clone. If you got to make a movie where he plays a younger version of you." And we just kind of got that rolling in reality, and he's killing it. And I love what he's doing, and he's going to do it again in the next film. And yeah, so I kind of officially kind of passed the mantle on to him. I'm going to be a mad scientist in the next one, and he's still Silas. So I'm going to let him keep doing it.
So does it fit like I mean you've been playing that role
Oh
since
yeah.
the start of the
Hmm.
film, and does it feel weird like not playing him now?
It kind of did at first, and I didn't know what I was going to do, because Die Daisy Die, the one that's on sale this week, I'm not really in it very much. I just play two or three really minor characters, and I'm not on screen a whole lot. And I kind of missed it. I was like, do I want to just keep being behind the scenes more? Am I ready to just, let somebody else have all the fun in the spotlight? But now, I kind of found a new character for myself, and I'm happy with Logan being Silas for now. And yeah, I play a good role in the next one, and that's good enough for me. And I'm happy with what he's doing with the old part.
Oh yeah. And Lloyd Kaufman is in the
Mhm.
film. So how did you wind up
Yeah.
getting Lloyd and Troma on board for the for Die Daisy Die?
So I made a movie with a man named Ted Mayring. He, well, actually, he came in to be the director of photography on Daisy Derkins 2, Daisy Derkins versus the Bloodthirsty Beast of Barren Pines, was I think the first thing I did with Ted. And Ted makes his own movies as a writer director: Bloodbath in the House of Knives, Invasion of the Reptoids, Revenge of the Devil Bat, to name a few, Camp Blood 666. But he was the cinematographer on Daisy Durkins 2, and he had made a movie, Bloodbath in the House of Knives, where Lloyd Kaufman played a part, an on-screen character. And so he had all the contact information. And when he came in to do Daisy 2, he's like, do you want a name in this movie? Do you want some kind of star power? I got the hookup, if you want Lloyd in the movie. So he supplied me with all the information, made that possible. I brought Lloyd in to shoot for a day as a bounty hunter in Daisy 2, has a fight with Daisy and all that. But now he came back for Daisy 4, Die Daisy Die, where he plays himself, which is more of his comfort level. He can't really not be himself, which I discovered in Daisy 2 directing him. I'm like, I had this kind of idea that I was going to try to cast him against type and have him be this badass mercenary type. And I'm like, all right, he was funny, but I can't say enough good things about him. But it's better to just kind of let Lloyd be Lloyd. And so we have
Yep.
him play himself at the opening of Daisy's big comic book store, and he's there as the celebrity guest, but he gets involved in the action a little bit when things get hot, and he has a gun, and he takes care of himself, takes care of business. And I mean, for somebody that's done enough film work as him, that has worked with Sylvester Stallone and James Gunn, he comes in, and even though we are who we are and we're not big names, he doesn't big league us. He doesn't phone it in. He doesn't act like he's too big of a deal for us. Like he's asked questions like, "What? How do you want me to do this? Like, did I do it okay? Like, do you want me to do it again?" Like he's very respectful to us and what we do. And he has all of our films on his streaming service, Troma Now. He's got the first three Daisies and soon Die Daisy Die. And he's the real deal. He really is a real friend to the indie arts and indie filmmakers, and I love him.
Oh yeah, he's great. He is. He's great. I remember when he was on this on set and he's talking to everyone, asking everyone about their scenes. Like
Uh-huh.
he's a super nice person.
Really is. Can I Yeah, he's salt of the earth. Love him.
Oh yeah. And in Die Daisy Die, do you have a certain scene that you had the most fun shooting?
I mean, it's probably that one, the climax, the big finale in the comic book shop, just
Hmm.
because we had such a cool setting. I'm a lifelong comic book collector and fan, and just being in a store makes me happy. And my friend JD, uh, what's he calling himself now? He goes by a lot of aliases. JD Holden, I think, is what he calls himself now. But he's a great guy and he's a good longtime friend. He owns a comic shop. We met in the late '90s working in a comic shop together, and now he owns his own place. He was very gracious enough to let me in. It's called JD's Hero Complex on Main Street in Manayunk. There's a plug. Go support him and his store. But he let us in, and I like being there. And then we also had, Lloyd for that scene, which was fun. And then you have Mummy Cop, and oh wait, we can't call him Mummy Cop anymore. My apologies to Tony Peluso, Hack the Movies. There's another plug. But yeah, we have a mummy detective, and we have some lizard men, and we have a time traveling serial killer, and we have hypnotized zombies, and it's just a big action blowout for a very low budgeted film. And it all went well. Everybody showed up and showed out. It was a blast to shoot.
Oh yeah, it was so much fun. It really was. And the songs for the film,
Hmm.
the music, you always have like a good heavy metal like
Mhm.
vibe to the music for the film. And where's the music come from?
So once again, we go back to Ted Mehring, who, our cinematographer, Daisy too, and our he's supplied a lot of the music for this film, but also his good friend and collaborator, Cedric Crouch. Cedric has composed the instrumental score for all the movies at this point, and he continues to do that in Die Daisy Die and what we're going to do next. But Ted Mehring has a punky metal sort of band called Video Massacre, and a lot of the songs on the new film soundtrack are Video Massacre songs. But it's almost entirely Ted and Cedric supplying us with music, and it's been great.
Nice. And was there any funny or cool stories from the set that stand out to you the most?
For Die Daisy Die, well, there's one that I probably shouldn't say in public, but I did have an actor in the film. Oh boy, yeah. We had an on-set injury. Um, um, just a total, mishap. Nobody's fault directly, but a thing kind of happened, and maybe I shouldn't say too much about that, but uh, yeah, some words were exchanged, and maybe certain people won't work together again. But no. Yeah, I think it's probably better to stay
Yeah,
political and diplomatic on that one.
probably, right? And
Yeah.
you also have done work. You wrote for Deadsville, one of the
Yeah, it started off early on, the very early stages of that project, which I'm not sure where that's going at the moment, if anywhere, if that's going anywhere, I don't know. But yeah, I wrote the pilot episode, which I believe is also on YouTube, and I also brought Andrew Bernarski from Batman Returns, Texas Chainsaw 2003, many other fun films. Zangief from the Street Fighter film into that project to be the voice of the dog puppet, and he's actually going to provide the voices for some of the stop motion monsters in Daisy 5, which we're filming now. So
Oh, that's awesome.
he's gonna help out with that. I gave him some dialogue, and he's gonna hook us up with his vocal stylings. We don't have the budget to fly him out from LA, unfortunately, to be an in-person character, but he's got a great voice, and he's gonna do some voice work for us for the next film.
Awesome, awesome. And I know you're a big wrestling fan because we always talk
Yes,
about wrestling, and you
yes,
also filmed a lot of the local wrestling shows. And
yeah,
what was that like being a wrestling fan to actually film wrestling shows?
awesome. I loved it. I mean, I wish that I could do that for a living. I wish that, the indies had tons of money to throw around and I could just quit my job and do that. I mean, it was fun. I like being there. I like feeling like I'm somewhat part of the action. I like, talking to the guys and gals, in between the matches and intermission, and you know, there's I wish there was more of that work available to me. I love it. I just love being there. I mean, it's just even to just get free admission to the matches is is fun for me. I love it.
Oh yeah, and you're a big comic book fan, so I have to ask the question: is who's your all-time favorite superhero and villain? By being such a big comic book fan.
Okay, and it's easy and it's kind of mainstream or whatever, but it's Spider-Man for sure because Spider-Man's relatable. He's got the heart, the Parker luck. He's struggling to make money, struggling to keep his relationships together, and he's got that crushing guilt. He's never feels like whatever, as much as he does, he feels like it's never enough, and it's just he's got a hard time. And favorite villain is Mysterio, who's also from Spider-Man, because Mysterio has no superpowers himself. It goes back to filmmaking. Mysterio is a special effects wizard, and he worked for the movies. And all of his powers come from his ability to trick people into seeing things that aren't there, and confusing people with his illusions. And it's all about the show. Like, all his schemes and all his crimes are all about, like, it's all about like his big show, and he just wants to fool the heroes. And there's part of that in me, like the big showman, and uh the movie kind of vibe, and the special effects and all that. So Mysterio is a lot of fun, and I'm always happy when he shows up.
Okay. And you're more of an old school video game guy compared to like the newer PlayStation 5 stuff.
Yeah.
And what are some of the older games that you really enjoy playing?
So many, but so I'll just list off a few. Mega Man 2 is the gold standard. It's great music, just great gameplay. It's like it's just comfort food. It's not that hard that it makes you mad, but it's like it's challenging enough that it holds your attention. By the same token, Strider, also for the NES,
Mhm.
you can you can spend an entire like afternoon at playing Strider from start to finish, and you won't pull your hair out. It's not that hard that it like makes you angry, but it's like there's a story, there's characters, it like goes somewhere, there's a plot. I like that. And you get to the end, and it's like, you can just kind of lose yourself in it. And if you're stressed out and there's a lot of things like making you unhappy in life, you can just kind of play Strider for a day and forget about everything. But it's not so hard that it's like, you're pulling your hair out. Godzilla, Monster of Monsters for the NES, same deal. Takes several hours to finish, but it's not like necessarily difficult.
Mhm.
Super Mario 3, if you get up in the morning, you can play Super Mario 3 till like you go to bed that night. It's like that's a long game, but and it's challenging, but it's not impossible. And I like stuff like that, where it's just like it's not so hard that it just makes you hate yourself, but it's like but it's fun, but it's not too easy that it's like anybody could do it either.
Yeah. And with Halloween coming up, is there any go-to horror films that you love to watch?
Yeah, I mean, it's cliche, but of course, John Carpenter Halloween. But I saw a new one last year called Cobweb. Have you seen that?
No, no, I haven't saw that one.
It's on Hulu. It's the dude that plays Homelander on The Boys,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, and the chick that played Janice Ian in the Mean Girls movie. Like, they're a husband and wife, and they have a kid. And I don't want to spoil anything. Like, I didn't read a single thing about it going in, but it takes place around Halloween, and it has like a very defined like Halloween vibe, and it's a total Halloween movie. But yeah, it blew me away. It's really good. So I plan to watch that again this Halloween. I liked it a lot.
Sweet. And the last question I will ask you is, where could fans follow you, follow the film, watch the film?
Sure, sure. Well, I'm on Instagram under my own name, Mark Mackner. Same with Facebook. I'm on Twitter as the Sensitive Cultured Lion Man. That's a Ron Perlman Beauty and the Beast reference. And I'm on YouTube also under my natural. Oh no, actually, I'm on YouTube as Mackner Vision, which is the new production company name. If you look me up on Amazon or Letterboxd, you can find my films or IMDb, or you can find my films. Please leave reviews. Be kind and understanding. We don't have a lot of money, but we're doing our best here.
You definitely are. So everyone go watch Die Daisy Die.
Yes, on Amazon, Die Daisy Die. That's on video this week, and I'm hoping to get it on streaming pretty soon. And currently in production, Daisy Derkins 5. Daisy Derkins Does Different Dimensions. It's our multiverse movie. It's our homage to, the Edge of the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man No Way Home. There's lots of daisies and lots of villains and lots of crazy stuff going on, but it's happening. We're shooting now.
Awesome, buddy. Well, thank you for taking time and coming on. It was good chatting, man.
I agree. Yeah. Great time. Great time. Let's do it again.
Definitely, definitely. And I will see you on Daisy 5.
Yeah. See you on set, brother. Thanks so much, man.
Everybody.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Thanks, man.